Can people hear me? Oh, sick. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's turn some lights on. Hello. The volume is low. Okay, hold on. Give me a sec. Is that better, or is the volume still a bit too low? What are you using to stream? Low volume. Nope, a bit louder, please. Okay, just a sec. Oh, no, wait. Looks like that's all right. Maybe a bit low. Right, let's try and up it a bit. How about now? Is that all right? Oh, sick. Everyone's happy now. I think there's a massive. I'm like watching this on my phone, but there's like a massive delay of at least like 10 seconds between saying something and it coming up in here. So I'm gonna ignore the stream, and I'm just gonna look at the chat because I don't really need to see it myself. How do I just see the chat? It's okay now. Okay, fine. Let's just hang out and chat. I have a cup of coffee that I made like ages ago, and it got cold because I was trying to set up this whole like live streaming thing with like the camera and stuff. Oh, there's lots of people here. Hey Fatima, hey Kevin, hey Hacks Player, Rukia, Rakil, Ariel, Sahifa. We have the same IKEA cup. Oh, sick. Is it from IKEA? Dishwasher safe, microwave safe. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything, but. Yusuf. Oh, thank you, Yusuf. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you to say. Let's move this a bit closer to my face. Hello. How's your day been? Oh, thank you for asking, Fatima. My day's been wonderful. What have I done today? I'm not really sure, actually. I spent the morning kind of editing a video, and then, oh my goodness. Stuff just never works, does it? Right, there we go. There we go. How are you guys doing? How do you have time for a live stream? Because my exams are finished. Like, I literally have nothing to do with my life. I've got to prepare a presentation for Wednesday and then, like, a revision lecture for Saturday. But other than that, got plenty of time on my hands right now. Oh, thank you, Aldrich. That's very kind. You're from the Philippines, apparently. Where is Paul? Paul is visiting his girlfriend. He'll be back shortly. We're having a barbecue this evening. Thoughts on the recent junior doctor contract glitch? Has there been a contract glitch? I was not aware of this. I had exams that just finished very recently, so I've just been a bit behind on the news. Can anyone fill me in on what's happened? How are you feeling about Ramadan in this heat? It won't be too bad. I spend most of my time indoors anyway, and we're going to be on placement, and hospitals are indoors, so they're not that hot. Oh, thank you, Louis. That's very kind of you to say. Please, can you make a video about how you started blogging? My exams finish next week, and I need something to do. Yeah, you should totally stop blogging. Blogging is the one. Might make a video about it at some point. Good night from Hong Kong. Oh wow. Hey Ava. Please tell me how you plan spatial repetition. Spatial repetition. It's more spaced repetition. But I suppose it's sort of the same thing. I plan it. I don't really plan it. I just kind of do it fairly ad hoc. Oh, Paul just texted me. He's watching the live stream. He says hi to Aldrich. Hey from Scotland. Can you do another collab with Ibsmo? I would love to. He's got exams though at the moment, so we're probably going to put that on hold for quite a while. Is this a coffee ASMR video? What does that mean? Which iPad do you use, and what is your app that you use? I use an iPad Pro, and I use Notability for all my note-taking needs. Making a video about that soon. I'm like in the planning stages of it. But if you're getting an iPad, I'd recommend the new 2018 one, the non-Pro version, because it's a lot cheaper and does the same thing basically. Shibaz, I love you. Oh, thank you. I love you too. Do you get any stick IRL for having YouTube, and if so, how do you handle it? Oh, that's a good question. Also, how do you pronounce that name? Is that Neve? Niamh? Do you get any stick in real life for having YouTube? I sort of get a bit of stick from my very close friends that, oh, Ali's on YouTube again, kind of thing. But they all, like, as the channel has grown, they've all kind of grown to love the fame, I think. And now whenever they feature on a video, they get nice comments and they feel happy about it. So I don't really get much stick anymore. Have you read Stormlight Archive? I started reading it, actually. Is that the Way of Kings one? Or is that something else? I second that Ibsmo collab. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to. Ibsmo's a great guy. Love him. Where do you buy your clothes from? Various places. This is Jack Wills. I bought this like 5 years ago. I really like All Saints, also Zara, H&M, anywhere really. What camera do you use? Sony a6500. Yo, Ollie, my friend is a huge fan. His username is Smelly Negroes. Please shout him out. Consider that a shout out. Tomorrow is my A-level chemistry. Oh my goodness, you're doing live today. Should I revise or watch this? That depends. To be honest, there's not really much you can do between now and tomorrow that'll drastically affect your grade. But equally, it's probably, whatever you do is probably going to be more useful than watching this, because this is just general chit-chat. Writing on an iPad or a computer isn't as effective as active recall. So I've seen studies that say that typing is not as effective as handwritten notes, but that's why I use handwritten notes on an iPad. And I've yet to see any study that compares handwritten on an iPad versus paper, because that's a very recent phenomenon. But that's why I like handwriting my notes rather than typing them, because typing you just kind of get into that autopilot where you're just kind of typing out the lecture and you're not really taking it in. Whereas when you're handwriting, you actually have to take it in because you can't physically write that fast. Do you enjoy Cambridge? Are the stereotypes true? I love Cambridge. The stereotypes. What stereotypes do you mean? The one I've heard many stereotypes over the years, but Yusuf says, Ali, I'm so nervous for medical school. I'm looking to optimize, investing in a sunlight simulator alarm clock, sleep tracking Fitbit, and a big monitor so far. Can you make a video on this? A sunlight simulator alarm clock and a sleep tracking Fitbit. I don't know. I think that's a bit overkill. Big monitor is really useful though. Do you wear contacts? No, I don't. I tried once when I was younger, like about 16. Never got around to it. Any podcasts for pre-med students? Common Rounds is quite good if you're actually interested in medical stuff, but I don't really listen to medical podcasts. I just listen to stuff like the Tim Ferriss Show, the Ground Up Show, Creative Exchange. I quite like Sam Harris's podcast. I quite like Reasons to be Cheerful if you're into UK politics. Yeah. Please say hello to Paul. I don't even know why he said hi to me, so I just assumed that Aldrich was me. Yeah, it was you. So he's watching the live stream from like St. Albans, and he heard his name being called out, so he says hi to you, Aldrich. Any tips for studying neuroanatomy? Draw diagrams. There's a really good series of lectures by Dr. Najib or someone along those lines on YouTube that I find quite useful for neuroanatomy, and I used Anki a lot as well. How do you edit your Instagram pictures? I use Adobe Lightroom, and then I do a few more post Lightroom edits in the Instagram app just to kind of get it fitting with the feed, because I like maintaining that theme. I'm starting King's College in September. Any advice for first year medics? I'm working on a very big series of videos that will be full of advice for first year medics, hoping to have the first one of those out kind of by the time you start, and then we'll be doing one each week for about 3 months because there's lots of videos. What did you take? I had my bio test and it went well thanks to you. Oh, thank you. But I'm sure it wasn't me. I'm sure it was you. You're the one that did the work. Favorite city in Pakistan? Well, I was born in Karachi. Also, I'm planning to become a vlogger, but I don't want to show my face. Any tips on how to make videos like that? It's really hard to be a vlogger if you don't show your face. It's really, really, really hard. I'd say that if you don't want to show your face, then probably don't vlog, because the face is such a big part of it. And I think videos that have a face in it are a lot more engaging than videos that just show like a PowerPoint or something or a voiceover. So face is important. It's unfortunately a big factor. Maybe consider starting a podcast if you don't want to show your face. Podcasts are good. Everyone seems to be starting one these days. What other schools did you apply to besides Cambridge? I applied to UCL, King's, Imperial, and Cambridge. First thing you would do if you got £1 million. That's a good question. If I just got £1 million, what would I do? Put half of it away in an investment ISA, put it in the S&P 500, put a quarter of it into Bitcoin, because I still want to bet on Bitcoin despite losing a lot of money in Bitcoin, and like buy my mum a house or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. iPad Pro or iPad 2018? iPad 2018. The iPad Pro is too expensive. Don't get the iPad Pro. Get the iPad 2018. What's your opinion about stem cells? Yeah, I don't know. It's got scope. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way down. How did you get featured on Ibs Mo's channel? I met him at Paxog Ball, and I obviously knew him because he's a big name, and then he kind of vaguely knew of me because he like retweeted one of my videos where I was talking about a patient that died after resuscitation. And then since then, I think I was vaguely on his radar, and then we just kind of met at Paxog Ball, and afterwards he said, hey, you know, it'll be cool to do a collab. I was like, yeah, I'd love to do a collab with you. So that's how I got started. No. Views on London med schools. There's lots of London med schools. I have friends at all of them. They all seem to have a good time. Yeah. Will you ever start podcasting? I doubt it. The world has too many podcasts, and producing a podcast is a lot of effort, and I really like the format of video because I quite enjoy seeing myself on camera. It's going to sound weird, but I like that kind of you see someone in real life aspect of it rather than podcasting. Do you plan to come to Karachi anytime soon? Yes, one of my cousins is getting married in December, so I'll be heading down to Karachi, inshallah. We'll see. Will you date an English or a Pakistani? Not quite sure what you're asking there. Views on Imperial College? Yeah, it's pretty solid. Got lots of friends there. They seem to like it. Can you tell us your learning routine during Ramadan? It doesn't really change. I just kind of alter my sleep pattern a bit. Louis says, absolutely love everything you do. Thank you very much. One question that's been bothering me recently. How many times should I recall each fact when using active recall? How do I know it's enough for today? What I do is I keep recalling it until it becomes easy. Because as soon as my brain stops working, then I know I'm not learning anything. But as long as it continues to be hard, then I know I'm learning something. Also, Paul just texted me saying, good dodge for the dating question. I'm very happy to answer dating questions. They just need to be specific rather than general, because then I don't know what the question is. Do you think you'll do any collaborations with any more YouTubers at Cambridge? I'd really like to, but I'm on the verge of graduating, although I'm going to be here for the next 2 years, so I'd be more than open to any collaborations with anyone. Do you know anyone who got into medicine with 1 A-star? Do you mean a GCSE or A-level, Jeffrey? I know people who got in with 1 A-star at GCSE, but the thing is that when applying to medicine, people always ask this. They're like, what grades do I need for medicine? And that's not a useful question, because in the absence of any context, I can't really answer that. You need fairly good grades, and fairly good is dependent on how your school did. So I've got 2 friends who are doing medicine here at Cambridge who got one of them got 1 A-star and like a few A's and a few B's at GCSE. One of them got 2 A-stars and a few A's and a few B's, a few C's at GCSE. But those 2, between them, they got 3 A-stars, and that was more than all the other 800 students in their school in Birmingham combined. So obviously 1 A-star is not the 15 A-stars that some people get, but in context of their school, that's what's taken into account. So the question of what grades do I need to get into Cambridge or to get into medicine is so dependent on context. Effectively, I think a good heuristic, a good rule of thumb is that if you want to apply to Oxford or Cambridge, then you probably want to be at least in the top 5 in your year group. If you want to apply to medicine generally, I don't know, your grades probably want to be at least in the top 10%, the top 20%, something like that. I think that's a very, very vague general rule of thumb. Obviously, there's loads of exceptions, but people always ask this question. How do you editing videos in your busy life? How do you manage it? Says Sam. I don't like the word busy. I'm going to write an email about this. By the way, guys, you should sign up to my email newsletter. There's a link on my website, aliabdaal.com. I'm going to write an email about this probably next week. I don't like the word busy because we're only busy because of the things that we take on. And I never like saying that I'm busy or that my life is busy, because it's not. It's like every single thing I'm doing, I'm choosing to do with my time. So if I want to do video editing, I'm not going to complain that life is too busy, I don't have time for video editing. I'm going to make the time for video editing because life's not busy, because busy means that you're doing something wrong because you've taken on a lot of things and you don't have time to get through them all. That's just kind of my view on that. It's just always time. Revision motivation, please. Struggling. Again, I've written an email about this. Motivation is myth. I don't see any value in using motivation as a motivator. It's all about discipline. If you need to work hard, then you need to work hard. I think another really important thing about motivation is that you need to have a good reason as to why you're doing what you're doing. So a lot of people say that I'm not motivated to study right now. I feel like I should be doing my chemistry A level. But then you kind of dig down deeper and ask them why. Why should they be doing the chemistry A level? And you find that, oh, because I guess I should be doing it. Like there's no clear goal in mind. If the goal is I need to get that A star in order to make my Cambridge offer, that's a very specific goal. It's like I'm working towards an A star. And people who are working towards an A star to make the Cambridge offer tend not to worry that they haven't got motivation, because there's intrinsic motivation in that. But if your goal is a bit more vague, that, oh, I suppose I just kind of want to get some good grades, then it's a lot harder to motivate yourself. So I think if you can, try and talk yourself into having a specific goal in mind, because when you have a goal, it becomes a lot easier to motivate yourself. It's easier to motivate yourself to go to the gym because you need to hit your personal best on the squat than it is to go to the gym to lift weights or to get healthier or to lose weight, because those are not very specific goals. That's the whole SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, something like that. The more specific your goal is, the more easier it is to have motivation for it. Oh gosh, so many comments. I actually have no idea how many people are watching this. Can anyone enlighten me? Is there like a number of viewers? Do Cambridge offer scholarships? Not really, but there's loads of stuff on the international application. Okay, do Cambridge offer scholarships? This is a complicated question. Everyone asks this. If you're an international student, probably not. If you are a UK or EU student, again, probably not. However, they do have bursaries for students from low-income backgrounds. But this concept of you're really clever, therefore you got a Cambridge scholarship, that's not really a thing. Technically, it does sort of apply. Like some governments, like the Singapore government, the Malaysian government, there are some organizations in India and Pakistan who offer scholarships to really clever students to go to Cambridge. But that's not Cambridge offering a scholarship. That's this external organization or government offering a scholarship that pays your fees. Oh, thank you. About 290 something. That's sick. This is amazing. I'm just like sitting here in my room talking to my camera, and there's like 290 people. Wow, this is pretty awesome. You guys would recommend getting to YouTube. YouTube is sick. How much research have you done as a medic? A reasonable amount. I've got like 4 or 5 publications by this time, but that's not. That's quite a complicated question. I'll be happy if you want to talk more about research, email me. I think it's quite a niche topic that not many people are that interested in, but yeah, email me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Are you going to take the MRCOG? That's the plan at the moment. Hi, Christine. Carmello, how do you deal with distractions such as social media while studying? I don't really get distracted by social media unless I want to be distracted by social media. I think this is another one of those things that I've kind of developed over time, that, to be honest, whatever I'm doing at any given moment is what I most want to be doing. Like right now, I'm sitting here talking to a camera and talking to you guys. But this is not procrastination from doing something else that I should be doing. This is because I want to be doing it. And if I wanted to be doing work without being distracted, I would be doing work without being distracted. If I wanted to be doing work sort of half-assed and kind of browse Instagram with my other thumb, then that's what I'd be doing. So it's not. I think the concept of distraction is, it's very easy to say, oh, I get distracted by this, and that. But like, I think once you can develop the discipline in a way, I don't know. It's just about having a clear goal. If you have a clear goal, if you know that you have to do this maths past paper, then just chuck your phone on the bed, put it on silent. Who cares? Like, then you won't get distracted. I don't know. I've never really struggled with the distractions personally, but I don't know, if you guys can give me some more information, some more info / context in the chat, then I might be able to offer a more tailored solution. What made you lean towards obs and gynae? Hi Amy. It's a fun mix of medicine and surgery. I like the fact that the patients are generally young and healthy, and it was the placement that I most enjoyed while I was in 5th year. So just thought, why not? Imi Rawlinson asks, is it beneficial to do a 4th one that's a bit out there? It is always beneficial to do a 4th A level. I think this thing that you only need 3 A levels. If your school only offers 3 A levels, fine. If you're from like a really bad school where 3 A levels is considered like, oh my god, that's amazing, then obviously they're going to take that into account in context. But most people, at least most people in Cambridge, have at least 4 A levels. It's unusual to get to be in Cambridge with only 3 A levels. So I think if you have the opportunity, you should always do a 4th A level. That's just my 2 cents on that front. How do you get through a lot of content in time for exams? Oh, hi Basma. I remember you commenting on another video. Hi, thanks for dropping by. You get through a lot of content in time for exams by preparing for the exam. So a lot of content is not examined. A lot of content is very niche. A lot of content is irrelevant for the exam. And if you care about the exam, then you focus your attention on exam content, if that makes sense. I am a law student from India. Hello. Hi, Tejas. I want to know your perspective about relations between law and medicine. That's a very broad question. Can you be any more specific? What's the best thing about the Cambridge medicine course? It's just fun. Like, people always complain. Like, lots of people in Cambridge complain that they don't like the Cambridge medicine course. But then again, lots of people at every single medical school complain that they don't like their course. And this is one of those things that, like, when you're a medicine applicant, you kind of think that, oh my gosh, wow, I'd love to be studying medicine. But as soon as you get into medicine, then it's very easy to get drawn into this, oh, the admin is bad, oh, we don't have our timetables on time, oh, I don't like the course, oh, why are we learning all this pointless stuff? So what's best about the Cambridge medicine course? I'm not really a fan of complaining. I just kind of like the structure in general, and the people. The people are really fun. That's great. What iPad do you use? What is the app you use? iPad Pro, Notability, but I'd recommend the 2018 iPad if you want to get an iPad. I've been here since 1K, bro. How are you? Oh, hi, Visnu. Which book resources do you use for history taking and OSCE exams? Okay, two things. Number one, OSCEs at a glance, and number two, OSCEs for medical finals. You can find semi-legal PDFs of those on the internet if you like, or you can borrow them from libraries. How old were you when you moved to the UK? I moved to the UK in 2003 in March, so I would have been about 8, 9. About 8. Yeah, I think I was 8 when I moved to the UK. When are you going to visit Singapore? I visited Singapore a few weeks ago for a conference. Probably not for a while, though. What are some tips for younger people who want to get into YouTube? Oh, no, not YouTube. I want to get into medicine. Get really, really, really good grades. That's by far the single biggest thing that will help you. And then just kind of have some hobbies and stuff. It's not that hard getting into medicine, provided you have good grades. It's really hard to get into medicine if you don't have good grades. So focus on the grades. That's the biggest priority. You can if you have really, really good grades, almost everything else can be a bit off, and they'll still probably give you an offer because you have really good grades. Like, grades are the most important thing for getting into medicine. I know it's not what people want to hear. People want to hear this whole grades aren't that important. You need to be a well-rounded person. They want people who can communicate, and that is sort of true. But in my experience, having good grades just lubricates the whole process, and it just makes it a lot easier. Yeah. So focus on the grades. Oh goodness, so many people. Okay, I'm so sorry. I literally don't have time to get through all these questions, but I'm just going to pick them randomly. Alex says, how do you study for a prolonged period of time? Take breaks and have a goal in mind. If you have a goal, then you won't consider it a prolonged period of time. But if you just think, I need to study, I need to do 8 hours today, that's the wrong way of looking at it. It's not about how much time you put in, it's about having a goal and meeting that goal. Could you make a video about how do you use Anki app? I'm not really a massive fan of Anki. I kind of talked about it in the video because I know everyone uses it, and it's like the classic example of spaced repetition stuff. But I don't really like Anki personally that much. I used it for very specific things like anatomy and pharmacology where you have to learn isolated facts. But these days, I almost never use it anymore. I focus on my spreadsheet method, which I think is much better. Which other student vloggers do you watch? So I watch Ibsmo, obviously. I watch Eve and Jade occasionally. Jack Edwards, I recently discovered his channel. He's quite good. There's that other guy. Luke Birch, I think. I really like his style. But mostly the vloggers I watch are sort of photographers, filmmakers, and I've started following some doctor vloggers recently as well. Given that I'm not really a student anymore and kind of off, like leaving university, I don't find a lot of value in watching student vloggers other than the personality, of course. But then that becomes more kind of entertainment rather than learning something from it. And whenever I watch something, I always try and like to have some kind of like a learning mindset to it. So while I absolutely love Unjaded Jade's videos, I don't really learn much from them because she's like 6 years younger than me at least, and is going through something that I went through 6 years ago. And while they're really fun to watch, and her live stream was great, and she's got a fantastic personality, that would fall on watching her videos would fall under procrastination in my book, and therefore I do it less than, for example, watching Peter McKinnon, who's an incredible videographer, or watching Casey Neistat, who completely pushes the envelopes with vlogs where I can learn something while watching him, if that makes sense. And I kind of use that as the philosophy for everything that I watch, that I almost never just waste time watching TV shows because I don't really learn anything from them. So I think that's one of my productivity tips, and just try and learn stuff when you're watching things. So yeah. What's your favorite productivity app? What do you mean by productivity app? I'm not sure what the question is asking. Do I do foundation year medicine? Not really sure what you're asking. I didn't do very well on my history taking station in Oski and I feel very down now. Any tips? I also didn't do very well on my history taking station. I asked around in my year group. Everyone felt that the history station went quite badly. But if you're feeling down, then I don't know. It's one of those things that feeling down doesn't help. And the only thing that feeling down about it does is make you feel bad. So you can just choose to move past it because you can't change it. It's like that serenity prayer thing that God give me the serenity to accept that which I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't really have any more kind of words of encouragement, but other than it's over, move on, work towards the next goal. Oh goodness, right. Did you get accepted in Imperial? And if yes, why did you not go? Yeah, I did. But I chose Cambridge because Cambridge is better, obviously. You're such a great YouTuber. / never change. Oh, thank you, cool boy Ang. That's very kind of you. Hamza Hussein. Hamza. I think this is my cousin. Yeah, it is. Hussein spelled with one S. Yeet. What does yeet mean? I'm not really sure, Hamza. Hi, Hamza. Nice to see you again. What made you decide to buy a house instead of renting one? It's a pretty brave choice. I hope it will work out. This is a long and complicated answer that I'm not sure many people would be interested in. I'm going to do a video about it in depth. Essentially, I'm very pro renting because I think it's a myth that renting is money down the drain. This is the kind of the narrative we get fed. And another narrative we get fed is that, oh, you've got to get onto the property ladder. It's really important to buy a house at some point. I don't subscribe to either of those things, but I think in my circumstance, because I was able to join with my brother, I knew I'd be here for 2 years. I had a reasonable deposit thanks to 6med. I was going to be living with a friend who I really liked. All of these factors like combined to make it worthwhile to buy a house rather than rent a house. But most people won't be in that position. So for most people, I would advocate renting because renting is not money down the drain. Buying can often be money down the drain. It's kind of complicated. Hi Ali, moving to clinical year soon. Oh, sick. Kavan beer. What should I be doing to ace them, Kumar and Clarks, etc.? I don't really like Kumar and Clarks. Like, it's all right. It's good if you want to understand things. I think the key is to understand the basics of everything before worrying about the detail. The mistake that everyone makes, that I certainly made as well, was trying to focus on detail very early on. And detail is irrelevant early on. If you have a broad brushstroke understanding of all of clinical medicine by the end of your first clinical year, then you're doing really, really well. Don't worry about the detail. Don't worry about memorizing stuff. Just focus on understanding. Oh my goodness, so many comments. Right. Who is the smartest person you know? Difficult to say. I'm inclined to say my friend Paul. He is very, very smart. But then, like, a lot of my friends are very smart. Like, Callum and Jake are very smart as well. Molly and Catherine are smart in their own way as well. Like, in their own way sounds bad. It's like, there's no easy way to define smart. Like, Paul does a very good job of, like, you know, if we're playing Avalon or Mafia or, like, a game, he's, like, very good at breaking down the logic for that. But then, that's just one type of smart. I don't know. Difficult to say. How much stuff outside the A-level syllabus did you do? What do you mean outside the A-level syllabus? Do you mean like extracurriculars, Miranda? Or do you mean like extra reading? I didn't do any extra reading at all, but I did a few extracurriculars. What music do you listen to while studying? I listen to my work playlists on Spotify. You can check those out. They're full of instrumentals from films and from like TV shows. I was listening to one this morning, and for each year from like first year to sixth year, I've made like a work playlist. So I've got like a folder that has all of them, so I just put them on shuffles. So the Planet Earth soundtrack, the Blue Planet soundtrack, Game of Thrones, Cinderella, Theory of Everything, and just off the top of my head, just like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, of course. Those are absolutely banging soundtracks. The Greatest Showman has too many kind of vocally stuff. So I listen to exclusively instrumentals while I work because there's some evidence that listening to lyrics is bad for your retention and stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay. Best learning techniques, spaced repetition and active recall. Can I get a plus shout out plus please? Yes, you can. Hi, Atta Mirza. What do you think about the bell curve system in university? What do you mean by the bell curve system in university? I'm not really sure. Uma asks that question. How much did you score in the BMAT? Oh, I got 7.5, 7.3, 4.5A. What makes you want to study medicine? Because it's fun. I wanted to do it initially because I wasn't really sure what I wanted, and medicine seemed quite broad, and because I thought 6 years at university would be better than 3 years at university. Do they consider students from universities like Kingdon? Who's they? Yuhan Peng. Oh, hi, Yuhan. How you doing? Do you exercise in the morning? No, but I really should. I want to get into it. Christopher says, is it reliable to revise by reading content and recalling it out loud without looking? Do you think it's important to write out what you're recalling? I don't think it's very important to write it out at all. Just do whatever works for you. Sometimes I just say it in my head, sometimes I say it out loud, sometimes I say it to a friend, sometimes I write it out. It doesn't really matter. Sandra says, thank you for your videos. They're truly inspirational. Thank you very much, Sandra. That's so kind of you. Johnny says, hello. Hello, Johnny. How do you study if there are no past paper years given to practice? Use the specification and try and work out what they're going to ask you. How do you use active recall when you see material for the first time? Okay, I'm actually editing a study with me video about this as we speak. It's going to say something like, when you see stuff for the first time, the objective is to understand it. And once you've understood it, then you write then you write questions for yourself that test your understanding. So, I can't think of an example off the top of my head. Let's say I was doing A-level chemistry. Actually, no, that's right. Let's say I was doing GCSE maths and I was learning the quadratic formula, or I was learning something like how to complete the square, and I'd kind of got my head around it. I'd spent a while looking over it, and now I understand how completing the square works. And I've done a few practice problems to practice completing the square. I then might write a question for myself that requires me to complete the square, or just like pick a random problem from my workbook or something that tests my understanding. That if I come back to it in 2 weeks' time and I'm able to answer that question, I'll know that I still understand it. And this kind of applies to everything. You kind of understand it first, and then you write a question for yourself to test that understanding. If that makes sense. I hope it does. Oh my goodness. Okay, scrolling down. What's your PlayStation username? I'm not sure if you're talking to me, Thermofusion. I don't play PlayStation. I don't really play any games. I used to play World of Warcraft back in the day, but I no longer game. Jay says, doing a 4-hour controlled assessment tomorrow for business. Tips on controlled assessment. I'm bringing notes. Oof, good luck. Make sure you write neatly, because that's the most important thing. I don't really have any other tips, because I don't really know anything about business. I'm sorry. Kat says, hi, I'm currently doing A-levels, have developed a really bad illness, almost dropped out. Oh my goodness. What's your advice for becoming okay with not being able to do your previous best, or studying while ill? Being okay with not being able to do your previous best. Again, it's one of those things that the alternative, either you're okay with it or you're feeling bad about it. And feeling bad about it does not help anything. So therefore, being okay with it is the only sort of logical option. And that's kind of how I go about this sort of things. I think I'm quite good at like rationalizing what I should be feeling about certain things based on what the most helpful feeling in that circumstance is going to be. So if it's a choice between choosing to feel okay with something and choosing to let it get me down, I'm obviously going to choose to feel okay with it. And sometimes my friends say that I can be quite like callous about this sometimes. So for example, if we have like a disagreement or something and I feel bad that I've been mean to someone, then I won't feel bad about it for very long. I'll kind of think in my head, okay, I was mean to them, I feel bad about this, I won't do that, I won't make that mistake again, and then I kind of move on, because the only function feeling bad about it continues to serve then is just making me feel bad, and it doesn't help them and it doesn't help me. So having decided what I'm going to take away from that and vowing not to do it again, then I just kind of choose to feel okay with it, and that's just kind of the way I do things. So I almost never feel bad about stuff. So whenever people ask me how do I cope with feeling ... my answer is usually along the lines of, for the most part, I think we can choose our feelings, and this definitely does take practice. And I'm obviously not suggesting that, if someone's suffering from clinical depression, then they should just man up or whatever. What I'm saying is that in most aspects of day-to-day life, there's like a good quote in Stoicism. It's like there's a stimulus and there's a response, right? Anyone who's done biology kind of knows this. You've got a stimulus and you have a response. But there's a gap between the stimulus and the response, and within that gap, we have the space to be able to choose our feelings about it. Let's say the example that Darren Brown uses, I think, in his book Happy, which is really good. They should all read because it's fantastic. The example he uses refers to, let's say you think that like you've got a friend and they were mean to you one day or didn't invite you to something and stuff. So that's like the stimulus. Your friend didn't invite you to their birthday, and your response is to feel bad about it and to feel like, oh, I'm not a good friend anymore. What are they doing? They're a bitch for not inviting me to this. What's going on? But if you later found out that actually the reason they didn't invite you was that their grandma died and the birthday was cancelled, you would suddenly feel completely okay with it, right? You would not then feel, oh my god, I feel so hard done by for not being invited, because you know the circumstances. So I think this example kind of goes to show that the story we tell ourselves about events, about the stimulus, is what dictates our response. So if we can just tell ourselves a different story, then the response changes. And I've kind of written vaguely about this in my on my blog. There's an article called 70 Excuses. Is that if we think someone has done something mean to us, we can choose not to think of that. We can choose to make excuses for their behavior. And only once we've made 70 excuses for their behavior do we have any kind of right to kind of vilify them for that action. Yeah, I'll stop preaching now and scroll a bit more. Nihari or Biryani. And Nihari. Actually, I really like them both. Also, shout out, please. Hi, Amama? I don't know. Sophie says sad face. Why is Sophie saying sad face? Oh, scrolling up. Sophie saying stuff. I'm so stressed about GCSEs. GCSEs help lol. I'm a fail lol. Oh no. Oh gosh. Okay, this is scrolling so fast. What are your views on EPQs? Yeah, if you can do them, do them. What's the ISOC like in Cambridge? It's fantastic. I love the ISOC in Cambridge. GCSEs are in a week. Hi IP, good luck. Is physics really important in med school? No, absolutely not. No one cares about physics. Summy says, hi, how much do you spend weekly, monthly on food at uni? I actually don't count. I think I spend... It varies. Like, I've got a friend who spends £25 a week on food. I've got a friend who spends £100 a week on food. Most of us kind of are in between those two extremes. Yusuf says, just read Wait, But Why article. It was excellent. Subscribe to your newsletter. Thank you very much. Check out his website. It's super helpful. Thank you, Yusuf. Any hobbies aside from YouTube and medicine? Yeah, I like playing the guitar, playing piano, singing songs. I like coding. I sort of used to do close-up magic. That I've kind of not really done that anymore, but I might do a magic show at some point. And I play squash. I love squash. Love your vids. I'm applying to medicine for the second time after my undergrad. Says Christabel, do you have any tips for applying, please? Yeah, watch all the videos on my channel. There's loads of tips about there. Do you need A2 maths for a good chance of getting into Cambridge? I think Cambridge requires A-level maths. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they do. It'll be on the website. Check the website. Oh gosh, okay. How do you apply active recall and revision on math and stat? Do past papers. This thing about active recall being a way of life, it's a way of life. It's not a specific, like, it's quite hard to apply Anki and my spreadsheet method to maths or statistics. So, we shouldn't be too hung up on, I need to be asking myself questions. Past papers are a form of active recall, so it does kind of work. Where do you buy halal food in Cambridge? There's loads of shops on Mill Road that sell halal food, and even Sainsbury's have started doing halal chicken these days. Manov says, hi Ali. Oh, thank you very much. Do you have any tips for a serial procrastinator that never ever gets any work done? Yeah, firstly, have a goal in mind. If you have a goal that you're working towards, and that's a goal that you personally believe in, then procrastination kind of falls by the wayside. There's also a really good article on waitbutwhy.com, called Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator, or I think that's the title of Tim Urban's TED Talk. Either way, watch those and read those articles. They're really helpful. I think it's called Taming the Monkey Mind. Yeah, so Google the phrase Taming the Monkey Mind, and you'll find a really good article on how to deal with procrastination. How do you get A star in A-level? Hey, I'm a procrastinator. Lul, I actually started learning to code, just finished HTML. Nice one, Himera. How many hours of revision were you doing around this time for AS A-levels? During study leave, I was spending all day in the library, so like 8 to 12 hours. Yo man, what's your favorite anime? Probably Naruto, but I don't really watch many anime. Are flashcards really helpful to you while studying? They can be. For a lot of people, I sort of semi-find them useful. I prefer the whole understanding it, explaining it to a friend approach. If you were to live in any country apart from England, where would you live? I really quite like Japan when I visited, so probably Japan. How is your memory so good, mashallah? I don't think my memory's that good, says Subs, but thank you for saying so. Just started watching midway through my GCSEs. I wish I'd seen this channel a year ago. Oh, thank you, love the vids. Thank you very much. Plan B Productions. What do you think about physician associates? Physician associates? Do you mean physician assistants? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what physician associate refers to. Good books to read. Harry Potter, Mistborn. I messes up at the media. K-pop. Ibs Mo says, hi Ali. Oh, hi Ibs. How you doing? Long time no see. How is your exam prep going? Oh, everyone loves Ibs. Is Ibs still watching? That's not Ibs. Can you sing a Bollywood song for us? maybe later. What do you think about TTD and CX in the chat, boys? What does that mean? Hey, Ibs. Where's Ibs? Ibs has disappeared. Zainab says, what to do if you have an A-level biology and chemistry mock exam in 2 days and haven't revised so much? If you've got an exam in 2 days and you haven't revised much, then that's probably, I don't know, unless you have extenuating circumstances. I don't know. I want to say that was a bad idea, but I know that's not very helpful because now the exam is in 2 days. If I had an exam in 2 days' time and I hadn't revised much for it, I would see if I can find any past papers, see if I can work out what they're going to ask me, and just kind of tackle the subjects that I'm not strong in order of how bad I think it is. So I've said this in a couple of videos as well. I always consistently ask myself, if the exam was tomorrow, what would I be least happy about? What would I be shitting myself proverbially about? And I would study those topics first. Is it worth pursuing med once you pass the undergraduate state? I'm not sure what you mean. How do you spend long periods of time studying and you become tired and distracted quickly? Right, so Yaish. It's not about spending long periods of time studying. This is too pervasive a myth that if you're not working for 8 hours in the day, then you're doing something wrong. It's all about having goals and hitting those goals, and like when you're revising and you have a goal in mind, then you'll find that if that goal is solid enough and specific enough and measurable enough, that it's quite hard to be distracted from it, especially if you enjoy what you're doing. So another tip I'd say is try and make yourself enjoy what you're doing. Take an interest in it. In a way, the more you learn about a topic, the more your interest develops in it, and the more you start to enjoy it. As my mum would say, love your newsletter. Oh, thank you, Rukia. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Love these videos. Thank you, Madeline. Very kind. Do universities look at your GCSEs if you do well at A level? Yeah, GCSEs are part of the process. If you get very good GCSEs, that's good. If you get very bad GCSEs, that's a disadvantage. But GCSEs are never the end of the world. So, yeah. How long did you revise for BMAT and UKCAT? BMAT 2 months, UKCAT like 2 weeks, because I didn't really care about the UKCAT. How did you choose what to intercalate in? I chose psychology because I always quite liked the idea. Do you recommend A-level biology or physics? I didn't like biology. I really liked physics. So I'd recommend physics. Are you a Marvel fan? Yes, I love Marvel. It's incredible. Someone donated. You missed it. Did I? Oh, hello. Tanmay Singh donated 20 whatever currency that is. How do I... Huh. Okay. Cool. Thank you for donating. That's very kind. I didn't realize people could do that. Is that like... I thought that was like a Twitch thing. Oh, sweet. Okay. Sophie says, I hate physics, RIP. Oh, I really like physics, so I feel for you. It's great. It's really good fun. Oh, it's rupees. 20 rupees, lol. Oh, fair enough. 20 rupees is it Indian rupees or Pakistani rupees? Because there's a bit of a, a currency differential between the two. Have you seen Infinity War? Yeah, I have. I loved it. You're my inspiration. Thank you, Mushumi. That's very kind of you to say. How effective are late nighters? Should you do them? Probably not. Not a fan of late nighters. Do you think doing more than one admissions test is a good idea? UKCAT, BMAT, and GAMSAT for medicine? Yeah, it's not that bad. Hang on, let me just put my phone on charge because its battery is dying. It's not that bad doing multiple admissions tests because you have different kind of windows to prepare for them. So UKCAT you can do kind of in June or July. BMAT you do in September or November. So it's not too bad. I have no idea about the GAMSAT, I'm afraid. So yeah. If you didn't study medicine, I would be studying computer science. Says 10-year gap. Lightning McQueen dies in Infinity War. Lightning McQueen, is he the guy in Cars? I remember seeing some kind of like Muslim meme about him, but I didn't really know where he was from. Do you sleep at a set time? I usually try sleeping by about midnight. Natalie Day, what makes a good study break? Cup of tea, exercising, anything really. I like making myself a cup of tea or coffee, or going downstairs to talk to a friend, or just kind of having general chit chat. And if it's towards the end of the day, it's like 6-7 o'clock, then I might go to the gym for an hour, come back home, and then do a bit more work. Oh my goodness. Scientist Fessel says gives £10. Wow. Is that a thing? Have I just suddenly got £10 thanks to Scientist Fessel? Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, sick. I can order takeaway tonight. But no, takeaway is bad. Scientist Fessel says relativity or quantum physics. I don't know much about either of them. kind of vaguely mentioned them both at A level. I like the concept of relativity. It's kind of interesting. Quantum physics has potential with regards to quantum computing, but I'm only saying that because I saw that Justin Trudeau clip where he was talking about quantum computing, and I didn't really know anything about it beforehand. So thank you for donating a tenner, Scientist Faisal. I will be in your debt, and if I've got you on Instagram, I'll send you a photo of the takeaway we get tonight from your very kind donation. Do you think you can ever be too old to study medicine? No. There was a guy in the year below, I think, who was like 45 or something. That's quite old. And there's episodes of Grey's Anatomy where there's like loads of old people doing medicine. Good books to read: Harry Potter, Mistborn, Happy by Derren Brown. Depends if you're looking for fiction and non-fiction. Do you regret anything while studying medicine? I don't regret anything per se. I regret the moments where I was unintentionally mean or nasty to someone and I felt bad about it. Obviously, I regret those, but other than that, I have pretty much no regrets for the last 6 years at university. Is cardiology hard? Yeah, it's alright. Not really. It's not that hard. You just can't, like, if you have an interest in it, then it becomes easy because it's just quite a lot of content. Any last minute GCSE tips? Get a good night's sleep. Make sure your handwriting's good. Good handwriting is so important, especially in essay subjects. What are the options after doing a medicine degree? Says Saida. What if I decide not to go down the general doctrine route? Would all of med school have gone down the drain? So I think if you do 6 years at med school, even if you don't become a doctor, it's still worth it because 6 years of med school is really fun. And most people's degrees tend not to be that useful for the job that they do. For example, I've got friends studying law who studied law who are now lawyers, and they think that what they did in their degree was not very helpful. I've got friends who studied economics who are now investment bankers, and they think that what they did in their degree was not very useful. So even if you don't end up becoming a doctor, I think it's still useful to have done a medicine degree because it's really fun and it's 6 years, and 6 years is better than 3 years. So even if you're not doing medicine, it's not like the degree's down the drain. A degree's never down the drain. You're learning for the sake of learning, almost. How can I improve handwriting? I don't know. I think there's YouTube videos about this. So you should follow those. How did you revise for essay subjects? Predicting essay titles, memorizing quotes, and just like memorizing lots and lots and lots of essay plans. Do you know if Cambridge takes A-levels hugely into account in postgrad med? Oh, sorry, Anira. I'm not really sure what the deal is with postgrad med. I have got a few friends doing postgrad med at Cambridge, and I'm doing a Q&A at some point with one of them. So if you can email me a list of questions or Instagram DM me or something, then I'll be very happy to pass them across. Should you look at admission stats for different colleges before applying? Says Pierre. No, you should not. I think admission stats for different colleges in Cambridge and Oxford are pretty irrelevant. Any tips for MCQs, SBAs for first year medical exams? Says Dorelli. I don't know, read the question, make sure you know your stuff, do lots of past papers. I can't really give anything more specific than that, I'm afraid. What did you get in your first year? Says Homera. I got a 2-1 in first year. I was 2% off a first, which is quite a long way. Yeah. Pharmacy degree at UCL, yes or no? I don't know. How many hours of revision are you doing at the moment? None, because my exams are finished and I have no more exams until my postgraduate membership exams. GCSEs boy, says Sophie. Sophie's really obsessed with the GCSEs. Hi Sophie. Good luck for your GCSEs. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. Maybe do some active recall the night before. I don't know really. Yeah. You're proper nice. Have a good day. Oh, thank you. Hi, that's very kind of you. Do a video on 20 facts about yourself. Ooh, okay. Maybe. I don't really like doing videos where I'm just talking about myself. I prefer doing videos where I'm kind of giving advice to people / helping people out, because I feel it's a bit too narcissistic. It's narcissistic enough having your own YouTube channel and talking to a camera and stuff. And then when there's kind of videos that are all about me, I don't know. I'm not sure people enjoy that sort of thing, but I'm happy to reconsider. Oh, scroll. Ibs, are you hardworking or hardly working? Lol. Wait, is this real Ibs or fake Ibs? Go to channel. That's fake Ibs. Oh my goodness. This channel doesn't have any content. Wow. He's fake. Oh my goodness. That's not the real Ibs. I was so gassed that the real Ibs was watching my YouTube live. Guys, that Ibs channel is fake. Well done, guys. You guys are good detectives. Hi, fake Ibs. That's good banter though. So kudos to that. How many hours of sleep do you get? I got 5 last night. I don't know. I just woke up quite early today. Usually I try and get 7. What do you think about NoFab? What is NoFab? Should I study medicine if I don't like the clinical aspect? Have you tried the clinical aspect? It's quite fun. But if you don't like the clinical aspect, then probably don't study medicine. Do you think state schools are bad? Very vague question. I went to a state grammar school, so sort of in between private school and grammar and state school. Favorite Harry Potter book? The 7th one. Amira says, I'm a first year med student. Any useful resources for embryology? Yes. There's a really good series of videos on YouTube. Again, Dr. Najib, I think his name is, does really good embryology stuff with really good diagrams. Would recommend those. How's your ring finger, Ollie? Thanks for asking. It's doing all right. Let's see. This is what the nail looks like. So the nail plate was removed by my surgeon friend, and now it's sort of in the process of regrowing. But like whenever I bash it against something, it hurts. So I try not to bash it against stuff. Would you consider study a postgraduate degree? I probably would. I'd consider postgraduate computer science or something just for fun. Favorite Harry Potter character? I love Hermione, obviously. Yeah, Hermione. Massive crush on Hermione. Why do you start a YouTube channel? It seemed kind of fun. It seemed fun to start a YouTube channel, and I have a general thing that if I am consuming something, then I like to think about whether there's any way I can produce it. So about 9 months ago, just before I started YouTube, I started getting into vlogs and like people like Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon and stuff. And I was like, oh, this vlog thing looks really cool. And as soon as I thought that, the next thought was, why don't I do this vlog thing? So that's kind of why I started YouTube. And then like the fact that I could make videos about the BMAT and interviews, A, to help people, and B, to sort of subtly drive traffic to my 6med stuff, that was another factor. And C, the fact that at this point, I'd been running 6med, like my company, for the last like 4 years, and I was getting quite bored of it, and I wasn't really doing any teaching myself. So I just wanted a way that I can do medical education stuff, and not many people do YouTube, especially not many doctors. So I kind of saw this thing of, oh, okay, why don't I do it? How hard can it be? And it's been pretty fun since then. Okay. Oh, I just got a message from a friend of mine who's a final year medic at Barts, who used to be my PACSOC wife. So within PACSOC, we had this marriage system, and you would have like wives and families, and you have your PACSOC kids, and you'd go to brunch with them and stuff like that. But she's saying that she wants to do a live Q&A at some point, which would be nice. So yeah, we can get more people on the live stuff at some point. 20k subscribers since when? Since like this morning. Where in Pakistan are you from? I was born in Karachi, Azir. What books did you use for surgical clerkship? I really like Surgical Talk. Surgical Talk was a really readable book, and just kind of the Oxford Handbook. Do past papers count as active recall? Yes, absolutely, Sam. Is it worth doing further maths for A-level for medicine? I kind of wish I did. Can you repeat the question? What do you think about molecular biology and genetics, says Fikri? I don't really know much about it, to be honest. How old are you? I'm 23. I'm nearly 24. I'm 24 in about 5 days' time. 4 days' time. Favorite non-medical book? Ooh, good one. The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, or Happy by Darren Brown. Thoughts on Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? Absolutely loved it. I've seen it twice. It's incredible. How can people try hard and get worse results? I don't know. Lack of techniques. How long have we been going for? I think I'm going on just on and on. It's been a while. I think we should draw this to a close. I actually have absolutely no idea how much time has elapsed. Any idea how much time has elapsed? Does it say? Why is Haroon Khan obsessed with your weight and how much you squat? Where is Haroon Khan? I don't see him. 55 minutes. Bloody hell, that's a really long time. Okay, let's draw this to a close. Favorite tea brand, PG tips. Hi Ollie, you're a great inspiration. Oh, thank you, Cleo. That's very kind of you. Favorite quote. The Eleanor Roosevelt one about not caring what people think. Have you ever been in Shrek Swamp? Don't know what that is. Do you like Draco Malfoy? Yeah, he's really good looking. Ever think active recall could be applied to memorizing Chinese characters? Yes. Oh, hi Mustafa. That's my half brother, I think. Yeah, it is. Oh, my goodness. Wow, this YouTube thing is incredible for like connecting with people. This stuff is really helping me in my Chinese learning here. Yeah, I actually think it is. I've got some friends who are learning Chinese characters using Anki, so that's exactly active recall. I think you lost your hair because of too much coffee. I know, the hair is just disappearing. I might just have to go bald at some point. Like it's just all gone. Any last minute exam tips? Yeah. Get a good night's sleep. Make sure your handwriting's good, and do a bit of active recall before your exam. Cool. Thank you very much for watching, guys. This has been really fun. Been going for like an hour. I hope the quality was all right. This was the first setup with like the camera and the microphone. A few last things. If you have Facebook, please can you like my Facebook page? I've done one of those things where you make like a Facebook like fan page, which I've been getting a lot of stick for from all my friends, and it's only got like 5 people that like it so far. So if you can like it, I'd like really appreciate it. It's facebook.com/Ali Abdaal. Because then like if at least like 20 people like it, then it's like it's a bit more legit. At the moment it's just like it's on 5 or 6 or something like that, which is quite embarrassing. So please can you like that? Thank you. It's good speaking to you. We'll do another one of these at some point. I don't know when. Might do it as like a once a week thing, just kind of like for half an hour, because this is just actually quite fun, and this is like a fun little way of chatting. Cool. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Have a lovely day. Good luck with your exams. Send me an email if you have any questions, /Instagram DM, /Facebook message via the new Facebook page, or tweet at me if you've got any questions, and I'd be more than happy to answer you. I've got a lot of spare time on my hands now, so I can literally answer lots of questions, but try and make them specific rather than general, any tips for exams. If you have like a specific scenario, or you can give me a bit more context, it's a lot easier to answer those kind of questions. But yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Now, how do I end this live stream? I'm not actually sure.